Is it really right to blame broken parental relationships for the arrogance, disrespect, or bad behavior of children, especially in today's world? A sensitive, often unspoken reality. Emotional, raw, honest, and soul stirring. Not entirely, not anymore. Yes, once upon a time, the emotional residue of a broken home did weigh heavy on a child, and it still can. Divorce, fights, distance, emotional neglect. They do leave scars. But today's world isn't what it used to be. Children now are growing up with access, awareness, choices, therapy, online communities, and boundless exposure. They are not caged in their homes anymore. They are connected to the world. So the truth is, a broken family can be a reason, but it should never become a lifelong excuse. Blaming parents is easy, but growth is when a child learns to differentiate between what happened to them and who they choose to become. Let's be real. We've seen children raised in toxic environments who turned into soft, respectful, wise souls. And we've seen kids from perfect homes dripping with entitlement, rudeness, and ego. There was a time when a broken home left children helpless, confused, and lost. But today, with all the tools for healing, reflection, and help, arrogance isn't a symptom, it's a decision. Disrespect isn't inherited, it's practiced. Being ill mannered is no longer about upbringing, it's often about what one chooses to ignore. Of course, parents hold a huge responsibility, but so does every child who grows into awareness and consciousness. Staying together just for the children may seem noble on the outside, but behind closed doors, it often becomes a breeding ground for silence, resentment, and emotional numbness. And children are not blind. They see, they sense, they observe. When love turns into tolerance, when laughter is replaced by cold stares, when affection becomes performance, it teaches children the worst lesson of all, that faking happiness is better than choosing it. Children may not understand everything in the moment, but they feel everything. They feel the cold silences. They hear the late night arguments. They notice the absence of joy. They sense the emotional distance long before anyone admits it. How does it impact a child truly? Let's not sugarcoat it. A child does get impacted deeply when the people you look up to, your first examples of love, unity, and security, begin to fall apart. It shakes your core. Your world shifts. Suddenly, nothing feels steady anymore. So, yes, a child's mental and emotional stability is at stake. Is it right for parents to choose themselves as a priority? Well, that's the question that breaks hearts the most. But here's the truth: you cannot give a child a peaceful life while living in personal chaos. A parent who is depressed, angry, disconnected, or numb will eventually pass that on, even unintentionally. Questions that arise in situations like this: but what if it wasn't supposed to end that way? What if they could fix things? Yes, this one is delicate. If there's even a spark left, if both people are willing, committed, and safe to work on things, then yes, try. Try therapy, try communication, try conscious rebuilding. If it can be healed, it should be. Because families can survive storms when love still exists and both are rowing the same boat. But if the damage runs too deep, if one is still trying while the other isn't, then maybe it's time to let go. Parents should try, really try, to heal, not just for the child, but for themselves too. If it's fixable, fix it. If it's forced, release it. What if it's not God's will? What if the devil is leading? That thought can haunt someone, especially a parent who's on the edge of breaking or a child caught in the middle. Because we've been told all our lives marriage is sacred, families should stay together. God hates separation. You're stronger if you just pray harder, endure more. But here's something many forget: God doesn't want sacrifice that kills your soul. He wants love that reflects His peace. God's will is never pain that leaves you empty. Yes, the devil can creep into relationships. He thrives on division, miscommunication, ego, bitterness, silence, pride. And when couples stop fighting for each other and start fighting against each other, that's not God's design, that's chaos. Sometimes walking away isn't the devil winning, it's God saying, "My child, you've done enough, now let me carry you." Because not every storm is meant to be endured. Some storms are meant to wake you up. God's will is healing, even if it's through heartbreak. Let's remember, God is not the author of destruction, but He does allow certain things to fall apart so that something more whole, more holy, more peaceful can rise. But what if I'm being tricked by the devil? What if I'm walking away too soon? Ask yourself this in prayer, in stillness. Have I truly tried to fix what's broken? Have I chosen love over ego? Have I exhausted the paths of healing together? Am I walking away to protect peace or to avoid pain? God doesn't bless impulsive escape, but He does bless honest courage. If you're leaving something that has turned toxic, manipulative, cold, or unsafe, that's not the devil pulling you out. That might just be God rescuing you. Bible, verse 3, Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Meaning, God values the heart, your emotional, spiritual, and mental well-being. If staying in a relationship is causing spiritual damage, confusion, or constant harm, even emotionally, God asks us to protect our peace and seek His guidance. Sometimes life doesn't go the way we hoped. The people we thought would stay drift away. The home we pictured changes. And the love we believed in fades quietly. You're not weak for feeling. You're not broken for needing time. You're not lost, even if it feels that way. Take your time. Breathe.